let's transition over here while we're talking about the PlayStation 5 first party studios, because it does look like, according to reports, Horizon Forbidden West is most likely going to be falling into 2022. And I assume these reports are coming out now. One from Jeff Grubb mentioning it on stream, and then Jason Schreier reporting it at Bloomberg, most likely because Sony is gearing up to put out some sort of event or press release or something kind of saying this, that Horizon is going to be falling into 2022. It sounds like first quarter, so this could be February or March. Like, really, if you step back and look at it, when was this going to come out if they were going to get it out this year?
I mean whenever. The PlayStation 5 schedule is wide open.
But like they would want to try to do some kind of marketing for it ahead of time. Like, they would want to do more than 30 days, I assume.
Well, yeah, but I thought that there was going to be a good run up, and I thought that was going to be the November release. That way they can be like, all right, here's our big Black Friday project.
So if it was coming out in November, let's say it comes out in February, like the first one did, that's what, like a 3-month delay?
Yeah.
I still if that's what it ends up being.
That I'm disappointed. I'll be honest. I understand it. I'm not mad at the studio. I mean, the game needs time. It needs time. But dang, I want to play that game so bad. Sucks we got to wait longer.
I think Sony bullshitted a lot.
I saw your video. Was that yesterday, Sean? You put that video up?
I honestly do. I mean, God of War. Okay, I think we all agree that God of War Ragnarok had no shot at being a 2021 game, but they said it was a 2021 game. Gran Turismo 7 was supposed to be a 2021 game. Horizon Forbidden West was supposed to be a 2021 game. Now your holiday lineup looks like 2 director's cuts, an indie, and a Microsoft game.
A Microsoft game, yeah.
Like, fuck, man. Like that, I've been looking for stuff to play on my PlayStation 5. Like, I'm gonna play Kena. How do you say it?
It's Kena.
Kena,
okay.
yeah.
Kena. Okay. I'm gonna play Kena. I probably will play Ghost of Tsushima because I never played it on the PlayStation 4. But I feel like a lot of Sony diehards probably did already play it on the PlayStation 4. So, what happened to the We Believe in console generations and shit like that? Like, I don't know, man. It just looks shitty to me.
First of all, obviously,
Jordan.
True. You're not wrong.
Yeah, let him know. Let him know, Jordan.
I will be playing it again, just for what they're going to offer. But with that being said, yeah, I mean, obviously, we know all these games have been affected over the last, year and a half. But I do think a lot of those dates that were given to us were just used as marketing. Like, we know we're not going to hit 2021, but we're going to say that because we want to sell you the console now. We want to sell you, like, even though they are coming out on the previous gen console, they still want to sell you on the hype of the new console. Being like, look at all these new games we're going to have next year, throughout the year. And I mean, a lot of that stuff happens in a bunch of different industries, specifically in the movie industry as well. So it happens.
Does that make it right?
No, I mean, it doesn't make it right. That's marketing. Marketing is never 100% the truth.
I don't believe Sony really went out of their way last year to mislead people with these target dates of 2021 with these games. It's simply that the impacts that COVID had on development weren't fully seen at the time. And
come on,
it's a tough thing to forecast.
They still wanted them out this year if they could.
I disagree. Because when that presentation happened for the PlayStation 5, we were in like peak COVID times. The world today was very different than when Sony did that presentation. And when Sony did that presentation, you did see. I mean, fuck it, you couldn't even like leave your house, and shit in some places. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
So to give them the biggest benefit of a doubt, the thing I've heard a lot is that a lot of times you're trying to guess a world you haven't finished building yet. They have some core gameplay loops and some like art assets and stuff. And so if they're like, hey, can you have this out in 2021? They're probably like, yeah, sure. So they put it in the trailer. So I feel like they weren't trying to be misleading. It seemed possible, and they're just missing it hardcore. But I don't think they were trying to lie.
I mean, even historically, before all this, the last God of War game, I remember the whole sequence where they kind of knew when they wanted it, and then they did that show together where they were sitting on a couch, and they were like, "Is God of War coming?" And they went, "Not anytime soon." And they were like, "Okay, I guess." And it's just like kept moving it down the line. So.
I mean, I have to say, at least for the one of them, Gran Turismo 7. I mean, that they put PS5 exclusive on the trailer, and they're like, "It's coming 2021." Oh, wait, hold on. Second half of wait a minute. There's a PS4 version now, and it's coming out in 2022.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 7 was probably their more egregious example.
Why they got to do this to Polyphony?
But like when you look at things like Horizon, and even God of War. And you can look at tweets from Corey. He seemed quite confident that they could have made 2021 with that game several months ago. The problem is game development is not an exact science. Things go wrong. As developers will tell you, launching a game is luck. The fact that it doesn't break when you put it in your system, they sit back and have a sigh of relief, say, thank God it works. It's held together by band-aids, is how some will describe it. The fact that games function correctly is a miracle.
I mean, I do think they wanted Horizon out this holiday.
I definitely think they did.
They were pushing. They were like, okay, we're gonna do this, and it just wasn't like, if you think about all the things that go into it with the voice recording, like all of a sudden has to be done at home. How do you do the mocap stuff if you can't meet up and do it? And it's like it turned into I think something that just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and then it's like, well, we're not going to release it at the end of December. So
I mean, it goes even beyond that. It also goes into certification.
What were you saying, Jordan?
That's the biggest tell is when they did that presentation, like a month ago, on Horizon, and showed it off, and it did not end with a release date. Didn't even say 2021, did it? It just ended. They said stick around for more. I think that was the biggest tell of us not getting it this year. If they would have just said 2021, like holiday or any sort of like didn't give it a month, but said like holiday, then I would have been like, okay, yeah, there's a good chance it has a good, a shot at least making it. But the fact that they didn't, that kind of said, all right, well, now I do think it's going to get pushed more than not. And, well, here we are.
The biggest thing that made me think it was still coming this year, and I was a little bit blinded by hype, but that Alloy crossover event with Fortnite, it really seemed like a marketing deal where they're like, all right, we're trying to get even more people to be talking about this and excited about the character, and there was all this extra art they were releasing, so I was like, all right, this is the beginning of the marketing campaign, and then nothing.
They recently did it with Genshin, too. Like, it's happening, I think, within a couple months for Genshin as well.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, probably the reason why it has been pushed, or it's most likely going to get pushed, is because there's two SKUs of this game. There's two different versions. I think that the PS4 version is probably ready to go, but they can't possibly release that without the PS5 version.
Interesting. Okay, so if there was no PS5, you think the PS4 version probably would have come out fine this holiday? Is what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident with that, because I think they would have started development on Forbidden West, maybe 6 months after the last Horizon game on PS4. So I think any delay is really about PlayStation 5 at this time.
I'll admit, when we saw that Breath of the Wild 2 was going into 2022, and they're aiming for it, and then I looked over at Horizon trying to launch on the PS4 and the PS5, and that came out right when the first Breath of the Wild came out. I started like, ooh, MVG might be right about this one.
Words like aiming don't do anything to give me confidence that it's coming out. Like aiming for 2022 doesn't make me think it's coming out in 2022 if you're aiming for 2022.
I would rather them say aiming than just to come out and say 2021 though.
No, I'd rather them just say 2023 at that point.
Or you know what? Just don't say anything at all. Yeah. Don't say anything at all.
Or that, yeah.
But they didn't. They didn't when they showed Horizon. They didn't say anything at all.
They didn't say anything for Horizon. But beforehand, it's been promoted as a 2021.
Well, they put it. They said in there. There was a blog post that went out, and that's when they also confirmed that several games were going to be cross-gen all of a sudden. They said that they were hoping to have it out this holiday. They just couldn't commit to it yet.
And it was their hope. The internal discussion to delay Horizon only took place pretty recently, months ago. Yeah. It took place right around the time the fiscal year transitioned over. So this was something that they did have hopes for at the start of their current fiscal year, is that they could have this game out by the end of the holiday. And as it's already being reported, is that if they're targeting Q1 of 2022, it means Sony still has hope it's going to make their fiscal year in terms of new releases. So when it drops in February or March, Sony is still going to benefit from that. And this is likely a decision from the development team of saying, we need those extra 3 months for polish or whatever have you, certification, proper testing. Could they launch this year? Yes. Would it be ill-advised? More than likely. Take the few months, make sure you're releasing at the top quality you can, and bring it out early next year. Sony doesn't need this game this holiday to sell. It is selling on hype alone, and I'd rather give my development teams the time they need to release the best product possible than to have it just to say we had a game in November.
But wasn't a lot of that hype based on the games that were supposed to come out in 2021?
Yeah. Didn't they actually?
It's been what, 8 months? It sold 10 million units on Returnal and Ratchet and Clank.
And
saying the hope,
and third party.
But
People do want to play like third-party games.
Is 3 months really going to
FIFA,
sway that confidence in the brand?
Call of Duty.
No.
It should, but it won't.
It won't.
It's only 3 months.
I mean,
I don't get the game in November. I'm going to get it in February.
We don't get the game in November.
It's the whole. It's not just this though. This is just the icing on the cake of all the shit that we've seen.
You just don't like Jim Ryan.
I don't, because he's a fucking liar.
Hey,
and we always try to, and people always try to just fucking
He's always in your
justify.
thumbnails with like that grin
And people try to justify like what he's been doing and what he's been saying. Don't fucking say something if it's not going to be that way. And I mean, you can just look at his track record. It's been terrible, and it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Look, Jim Ryan is paid to sell PlayStation 5. That man would pee in your mouth for his bonus.
You could say his track record is terrible, but he is responsible for the fastest selling PlayStation hardware right now, selling 10 million. So I mean, the numbers are going to show that he's the most successful president of PlayStation.
He also turned around the PlayStation 3 in Europe. He's a numbers man. He knows business. He knows how to sell systems. And I don't think this is a case of him coming out and using tricky marketing tactics. It was, what's the development status on our game at this point? Okay, can we get this game out in 2021? By looking at things, yes, we can. All right, that's what we're going to put in our press release. It's the real world. It's a fluid industry. Things change by the minute. And Sony had to evaluate the games and say, hey, we have to announce some delays. With Gran Turismo 7, that was a very fast delay in terms of them coming out in 2021 saying, this game ain't making this year. They were very direct with that early on this portion. With Horizon,
and it's PS4
where in August, they hadn't given us an update outside of late May, where Sean was still saying it was coming out in 2021, mind you. And it makes sense that it's obviously wasn't going to make this year at this point. They weren't going to do a 2-month marketing cycle for their biggest release. But, I mean, again, it's a trivial matter of 2 to 3 month delay. We're going to get a better product in the end.
How is the state of play not considered marketing for Horizon Forbidden West?
Additionally, didn't they accidentally release, what conference was that where they showed like a teaser and it was like the slate that we have upcoming for PlayStation? And
and then they pulled it.
Yeah, they accidentally said also coming in fall, Horizon, and then they ripped the trailer down and re-edited it.
Yeah, they pulled, because they had a bunch of dates on games and they're like, no, let's take that down. That's not when that game's coming out.
They wanted to have the game out this year. You know what probably happened, man? I agree with MVG. They just probably PS4 version, but the PS5 version, there's probably so many bugs in open world games. You guys know how open world, there's probably so many bugs and glitches and crashing. They could probably get out, but look at Returnal. Returnal got delayed and there was still crashing, bugs, and that game's nowhere near the size of,
I mean, you're right.
of this game. So, I mean, this is what happens, man. They probably just ran into all sorts of issues in like quality assurance or whatever, you know?
Yeah, the hardware's still relatively new. There's still that learning curve that's going on with developers getting their head around the PlayStation 5. I mean, I would say that's probably what's happened here.
So okay, so let's just assume the reports. This is from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. He doubled down and was like, nah, it's getting delayed. So I assume that means once again Sony's going to announce it here pretty soon, and that's why people are now talking about it, because they either cut up the trailer for it or they have a press release almost ready to go. Could be going live this week for all we know, just pushed out on the PlayStation blog. Do you think when they do that, do they tell us when it's coming out then, or they just say nope, 2022, that's when it's coming out? Or you think they have a date already in mind?
I think they're going to say spring.
I think
could go either way. Could go either way, honestly. I mean, they could just commit and say, March or February. But I will say, I mean, if they just say spring, I'd be a little concerned about the dates pushing, being a little more fluid after that, because anything's possible. But I mean, I said last time it was going to come out next year. I think they'll probably commit to a date for next year.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if it's far enough out, they can wrap around it. So
I would think so.
That does set them up nicely for 2022, though. If you look at everything, because they have a lot of games.
Do they? Maybe. Like, fuck. They said 2021. Now they say 2022. Does that mean it's going to come out in 2022? I'm not so confident.
First half of 2022 on PS5 is going to look really good.
I have a feeling Horizon Forbidden West is going to come out next year. It's going to be great, and I can already picture the RGT85 thumbnail of him doing hands on head, like it's good.
No, because I've always said that. I've always thought the game was going to be good because they fixed my biggest problem with the game, which was the lack of melee, interesting melee combat. So I think the game's going to be great. I just wanted to play it this year when Sony told me I would be playing it in 2021, and now I have this PlayStation 5 that is kind of collecting dust because I'm not interested in Deathloop. I'm not interested in Death Stranding trying to make it fun edition. I mean, Kina will be fun, and I'm looking forward to Ghost because I've never played it, but
it still hurts when you say that.
Yeah. I came out at the end of the PlayStation 4's life cycle last summer.
It was so good though.
I put 60 hours. I got the plat on that baby. Ooh, I love it.
Same.
I'm going back to that.
Love it.
You could play as Final Fantasy 14 now with the free trial up to level 60, and the PlayStation 5 version actually is pretty good. They released a PlayStation 5 version specifically.
It is free to play right now on the PS5. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
You can just play. I mean, if they let's just assume a lot of these games getting pushed. Like, believe it or not, the one I think that has the most chance of being delayed again is Gran Turismo.
Oh, dude, that's not coming out next year. That's not coming out this year.
Oh my god!
No, Ragnarok isn't either.
No way.
I don't know. I think Ragnarok could do it.
I think Ragnarok is a holiday next year game.
Yeah,
I can see that. But Gran Turismo, no.
Once they said there's a PS4 version involved, it's like, oh gosh, with polyphony.
I think
we're getting Gran Turismo 7 prologue.
They have to have Gran Turismo 7 launch next year. You can't have a PlayStation 4 game releasing in 2023.
They'll find a way.
Yeah, right.
They have to cut all ties with the PlayStation 3 or 4 by 2023. You can't. I mean, I think in Sony's perfect world, they were going to sever those ties with the PlayStation 4 in 2021. And the fact that they are delaying PlayStation 4 games into 2022 is telling that they didn't have control over the situation. And we can even look at games like Ratchet and Clank. That game was supposed to be launch window. It came out 3 months after a launch window is typically considered. So if you apply that exact same time window to a game like Horizon, taking it from November to February, this matches whatever is happening internally due to COVID impacts for delaying their games. I mean, this can be certification, marketing. It can be any number of things that are pushing these games a few months, but it's an industry-wide issue. And this is something that people were very vocal about last year when it came to critiquing Microsoft with their absence of games for the first year of their console. Sony looked to be in a better position. Reality hit them, and they were in a very similar position to Microsoft.
I'm looking at this now and realizing that if God of War is next holiday, there will be a PS4 title released in holiday 2022. That'd be interesting to see. Well, I guess we'll find out hopefully next.
Do you think you'll be able to get a PS5 at that time? Like just jump on Amazon and pick one up? Or do you still think there'll be a shortage?
By next holiday.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been talks that chip shortage could last into 2023 now.
Jeez.
So I would like to think we'll have it sorted by then because Sony is at least producing more PS5s than they did PS4s. But PS4 eventually started ramping up to the point where the PS5 would have to all of a sudden solve their issues to get back ahead of it. And as you say, Jim Ryan is a numbers guy. Jim Ryan did not run the PS4 generation.
Right.
And I don't think he wants to lose to the PS4 generation because he wasn't in charge then. He's in charge now. So unless they start figuring out some stuff, I don't know how they're going to make that happen. So I don't think so, though. I think we'll still be in this situation now where you don't walk into a store and see them.
It's even impacting the Amico.
I have the what? No, so I have 3 of my real life friends want a PlayStation 5, but have said I'm not going to buy it till I can get one from Target. They don't want to deal with scalpers. They're tired of like watching Twitter accounts with notifications turned on. Like they got to figure out.
Do we have any evidence PlayStation 5s exist?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond having one in your house, have you ever actually seen one in the wild?
I've never seen one in a store.
Never seen one in a store. I've only seen an Xbox Series S once, and somebody grabbed it.
Yeah, I've got one right here. How dare you mock PlayStation? Look what they've done for you.
That does not look like a very solidly built PlayStation.
How dare you say that about Sony's hard work? My God, it looks
like the Crayola edition of the PS5.
Originally, I tried to mimic the color, and it looks like a melting ice cream sandwich.
So we'll see. I guess we'll see. First half of August, maybe we have a state of play or PR or press release, something put out around this. So
they'll probably do a press release only because of the report, but they were likely waiting a little longer for a state of play. So I don't think they're going to rush a state of play just to address this delay.
Right. So, well, we'll see what happens. I guess maybe in the month of August, and then kind of go from there.